Curiosity AIs, battles that changed the world. The Battle of Marathon. The Battle of Marathon, fought in 490 BCE between the forces of Athens and the Persian Empire, is one of the most pivotal moments in ancient history. It was part of the first Persian invasion of Greece, launched by King Darius I to punish Athens and Eretria for their support of the Ionian Revolt against Persian rule. The battle, fought on the plains of Marathon, was a dramatic clash between the might of the Persian Empire and the fledgling democracy of Athens, and its outcome would shape the future of Greece and the development of Western civilization. The Persian Empire under Darius I was the largest and most powerful empire the world had ever seen, stretching from Egypt to India. In contrast, Greece was a collection of small, independent city-states, often in conflict with one another. Athens, one of the leading city-states, had recently adopted a democratic system, and this newfound freedom would be put to the test in the face of Persian aggression. The immediate cause of the conflict was the Ionian Revolt, a rebellion by Greek cities in Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey, against Persian rule. Athens and Eretria supported the revolt, which ultimately failed. In response, Darius I vowed to punish the Greek mainland, particularly Athens, for its involvement. His plan was to invade Greece, subjugate it, and incorporate it into his vast empire. In 490 BCE, Darius sent a Persian expeditionary force across the Aegean Sea. After sacking the city of Eretria, the Persians turned their attention to Athens, landing their forces at Marathon, a flat plain northeast of the city, chosen because of its suitability for the Persian cavalry. The Persian army at Marathon was a formidable force, likely numbering around 25,000 soldiers, including infantry, archers, and their feared cavalry. The Persians had built an empire through speed, discipline, and overwhelming numbers, with their soldiers equipped with lighter armor and skilled in long-range combat. On the other side, the Athenian army, led by the General Miltiades, was significantly smaller, with about 10,000 hoplites, heavy infantry equipped with long spears, shields, and bronze armor. These soldiers fought in a tight phalanx formation, which provided strong defensive capabilities in close-quarters combat but was vulnerable to long-range attacks and cavalry charges. The Athenians were joined by around 1,000 warriors from Plataea, a small ally. Despite their numerical inferiority, the Athenians had a few key advantages. First, they were fighting on home territory, with a stronger motivation to protect their city and preserve their way of life. Second, they had excellent discipline and tactics, including the heavily armored phalanx, which had proven effective in close combat. Third, the Athenians had the leadership of Miltiades, a former commander under the Persian Empire, who knew how to exploit Persian weaknesses. When the Persians landed at Marathon, the Athenians were faced with a difficult choice: defend the city from behind its walls or march out to meet the enemy on the plain. Waiting for reinforcements from Sparta was risky, as the Spartans were delayed due to a religious festival, and time was not on Athens' side. If the Persians advanced while the Athenians remained inactive, they could easily march on Athens, which was lightly defended. Miltiades convinced the Athenian assembly to take the bold step of marching out to Marathon to confront the Persian force head-on. His strategy was to strike the Persians before they could deploy their full military power and use their cavalry effectively. The Athenians set out from the city and arrived at Marathon, where they camped in the hills overlooking the plain. For several days, both sides waited. The Persians expected the Athenians to stay defensive, but Miltiades, knowing that prolonging the standoff would only benefit the Persians, decided to take the initiative. Miltiades' plan for the battle was unconventional but brilliant. Knowing that his center was vulnerable, he deliberately weakened it, stretching his forces thin to extend his flanks. When the time was right, Miltiades gave the order, and the Greek hoplites charged the Persian lines. The Greeks ran across the plain, minimizing the time they would be exposed to Persian arrows. The Persians, surprised by the audacity and speed of the Greek assault, quickly engaged the Athenian forces. The weaker Greek center buckled under the pressure of the Persian infantry, but this was part of Miltiades' strategy. While the Persian center advanced, the stronger Athenian flanks held firm and began pushing back the Persian wings. Once the Persian flanks were routed, the Athenian hoplites on the wings wheeled inward, trapping the Persian center in a pincer movement. This encirclement caused confusion and panic among the Persian troops, many of whom were lightly armored and not equipped for close combat against the heavily armored hoplites. The battle quickly turned into a rout. The Persians fled back towards their ships, pursued by the Athenians, who continued to inflict heavy casualties. According to the historian Herodotus, about 6,400 Persians were killed, while Athenian losses amounted to only 192 soldiers, an astonishingly lopsided outcome. The Battle of Marathon was a decisive victory for the Athenians. The Persian forces retreated back across the Aegean, and the threat to Athens was temporarily lifted. This victory was not just a military triumph, it was a psychological one as well. The Greeks had demonstrated that the mighty Persian Empire could be beaten, even by a smaller, less well-equipped force. The legacy of the Battle of Marathon had profound effects on Greek society and culture. Athens emerged from the battle as a leading power in Greece, emboldened by its victory. This newfound confidence helped lay the groundwork for the Golden Age of Athens, which would follow in the coming decades, marked by advancements in democracy, philosophy, art, and science. Miltiades became a hero, though his later life ended in controversy and exile. The battle also gave rise to the legend of Phidippides, the Athenian runner who was said to have raced from Marathon to Athens to announce the victory before collapsing and dying, a tale that inspired the modern marathon race. The Battle of Marathon was more than just a local skirmish, it was a turning point in world history. If the Persians had won, Greek civilization, with its emerging democratic institutions and intellectual achievements, might have been snuffed out. The victory at Marathon preserved Greece's independence and set the stage for future resistance against Persian invasions, most notably during the Persian Wars a decade later, when Xerxes I, the son of Darius, attempted to conquer Greece once more. The battle also became symbolic of the defense of freedom against tyranny. For the Greeks, the victory at Marathon was a testament to the strength of free men fighting to protect their homeland. In the centuries that followed, Marathon became a symbol of courage, endurance, and the power of democratic ideals in the face of overwhelming odds. In conclusion, the Battle of Marathon was a critical moment in history, marking the first successful defense of Greece against the Persian Empire. The victory secured the future of Greek culture, and by extension, Western civilization. Without this victory, the course of history could have been drastically different, with the cultural and political achievements of Greece potentially lost to history. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, please consider subscribing.